What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Screencast-O-Matic with Mr. Riley. So, thanks to me being absent today, you have to listen to me tell you notes and type them while you listen and type along. So I'm going to take my time, but please be ready to type and click around as I do as well. So the first thing you should be starting with are our China's modern history notes. Okay, we went through all these history of China notes. We talked about the Terracotta Warriors. We talked about the Great Wall of China and the Qin, the Han, and the Qing dynasties. Today we're going to move on to China's modern history. So what we'll do is we'll finish this section of notes, which will take about 5-6 minutes. Then we will click to 26.2 Continued, where we will talk about China's economy. So be ready to jump around. First, we will start with China and the history of China. So, China's modern history. The first thing we need to remind ourselves is that Chinese dynasties lasted for how many years? Question. Somebody going to answer? Maybe someone got it right, maybe someone didn't. But Chinese dynasties lasted for about 4,000 years. And it ended with the Qing dynasty, which lasted from 1644 to, anybody? 1911. So in 1911, rebels, which are kind of a force of people who want to overthrow someone, force out the last emperor of the Qing dynasty. And they form a new government. So over time, two rival groups emerge. Both want power. I'll give you a second to catch up. The two groups that want power have two different names. The first group are the nationalists. They are led by a man by the name of Chiang Kai-shek. All right, Chiang Kai-shek. The other group was led by a man named Mao Zedong, and these were the communists. So we've talked about a communist government before, and this guy by the name of Mao Zedong was a communist. So everybody say Mao Zedong. He's that funny guy in the picture that we saw the other day. Well, here's another picture of him. Here he is. He's got a nice bald scalp up here. Doesn't have a mustache like many of the other interesting people we've had the chance to talk about. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a little mustache on Mao. So give Mao a little mustache. Oh, what just happened? We'll try again. All right, Mao. Here comes your mustache. It's not working. All right, there. Mao has a mustache now. Mustache Mao. That's what we call him, M&M. All right. So eventually these two groups are going to fight in a civil war. Two groups fight a civil war, which we know is a war between two groups in the same country. The communists are going to win. Make sure you note that, please. Communists win the war, and the nationalists are forced out. They flee to Taiwan, which is that small island country off the coast of China. The communists form Communist China. So, in Communist China, we're going to have a couple things. We know that in a communist government, the government's going to control everything. They're going to control all land, all property. They're kind of going to tell you what they want to do. So, the communist government takes over the entire economy. They take everything. They take private farms. We know people there enjoy farming. Remember we talked about that. They take away businesses. in all factories. The government controls everything. Give you a second to get caught up. So the next thing Mao is going to do, we talked about briefly in that massive picture we saw of him on the side of the Forbidden City, about how he's probably not the best ruler. He does something called the Great Leap Forward. And this was a program that Mao led to industrialize the country. Okay, that means he wanted to build big factories, he wanted to build big buildings, skyscrapers, have these big companies. And so in 1958, he uses this program. It's an economic program. We'll say he uses this economic program to industrialize rural areas. Okay, remember rural means country. So we'll put in parentheses country areas. But it failed. And in 4 years, 20 million starved to death. So for all the good he was trying to do, it failed miserably. 20 million people starved to death. So it didn't really go very well. So in fact, we're going to have a little saying here. When I get back to class on next week, we're going to do a little thing with it. It's called, instead of being the Great Leap Forward, we're going to call it the Great Leap Backward. Sorry, Mao. It's a great leap backward, buddy. So the next thing Mao tries to do, because the Great Leap Forward was such a big failure, and you're going to have to type this in, was called the Cultural Revolution. And in 1966, Mao begins to repress and eliminate his critics. Those are people who talk bad about you. So he's going to take away all freedom of press and speech. Kind of sounds like a dictator, doesn't it? So in short, Mao limits freedoms and imprisons those who disobey. So, if I had been there in class today, I would have made Carter Davis. We would have imprisoned Carter, and he would have had to have been imprisoned in the little backpack shelf over there. So Carter, look over the backpack shelf. You would have been imprisoned there. But lucky for you, I'm not there today. So eventually, this other fella succeeds Mao. Okay, Mao dies. And this guy by the name of Deng Xiaoping comes to power. Everybody say Deng Xiaoping. He rose to power after Mao's death. And he modernizes and improves China's economy. The same economy that Mao had kind of ruined. And he's going to do something revolutionary. Okay? He's going to allow foreign companies into China. This had never happened before. Mao Zedong never let foreign companies into China. So think about all the companies now. You look at your shirt, it says what? It says made in China. Today, companies such as Starbucks are in China. Look at this picture right here. Companies like McDonald's are all over China. And Nike. And a lot of the manufacturing that goes on in China is for shoes like Nike, companies like Adidas. This woman doesn't look very happy there. Yikes. But anyways, you see that more foreign companies are allowed into China. So do you think this would help or hurt China's economy? It would help them. So it helps China's economy. And just like that, and today, China has become one of the more, I wouldn't say powerful, but they have a very profitable economy these days. Very good economy. So because of the things that old Deng Xiaoping did for China. So I hope you enjoyed the Screencast-O-Matic with Mr. Riley. I hope you've enjoyed Mustache Mao. I hope you've drawn a mustache on your old Mao Zedong. If you haven't, you should do so, even though he doesn't really have a mustache. We love mustaches. So, I hope you'd enjoyed the Screencast-O-Matic. Hopefully you got the notes. If you didn't, don't panic. We will reconvene on Monday. Everybody have a good weekend. Goodbye.